During my swearing-in on 4th April 2018 as President of the Republic, I said that my election and my new administration is the dawn of a new era to change and transform Sierra Leone. As a nation, we must resolve to use this opportunity to change and transform our beloved Sierra Leone. We have to resolve as a nation to lay the strong and credible foundation for our children.
The changing of the colors took place on the night of April 26th. At exactly 11:58 and a half, the light on the British flag was turned on, and the green, white and blue flag of an independent Sierra Leone unfurled for the first time.
This man is the Mohamed Bangura. This is Mohamed Bangura that you have been hearing about. He's the one dancing. You see what they are doing? Scattering all of the documents on the floor, stepping up on them. See, look at the document. They have thrown all of the documents on the floor, Mom. You see what the APC are doing?
They have been chanting songs and clapping their hands and also holding up placards asking members of parliament who had been petitioned to leave the House of Parliament.
Hello, my family. Welcome to Sheriff's Broadcast Network, the place Wusai would bring Africa live to Wusai ever you day around the globe. Of course, today, Sunday, April 29, 2018, always a delight to we for able to bring exclusive programs from Sierra Leone, especially with regards to our democratic processes, our governance systems in the country. Of course, we want to take opportunity of this moment for send our, belated, independence anniversary messages to each and everyone out there, all Sierra Leoneans, all over the world, wherever you find yourself. Of course, we want to say happy 57th independence anniversary to una all. And so today now some of the topics then they want to new go for cover now. So since Sierra Leone don't gain independence from the British in 1961 up to today, now 57 years, waiting as Sierra Leoneans as a people and Sierra Leone as a country, what we go show for we independence. We get for talk about that today. And of course, we also get for talk about some of the other steps where the government of President Julius Maada Bio, Brigadier General, retired, waiting at some of the steps then where they don't take again after we don't return from the overseas trip, and waiting at some of the things that where they go on in the country. And of course, we all know, see, this past week or so, we don't get a lot of activities. Parliamentary procedures in the country, wherein almost the process was almost disrupted by the opposition All People's Congress. And of course, we see police then come inside, they pull them come out na door. So these are the things that we are going to talk about today. And of course, Sheriff's Broadcast Network will continue to be your exclusive media house. Now the place this was how they bring you exclusive information, news and education about Sierra Leone. And of course, one for say a lot of appreciation to all Sierra Leoneans all over the globe, where they send we messages, where they send we comments, where they send we inboxes of very important and useful information where they use for broadcast. And of course, one for let una know see then contributions the way they come up from una don't contribute in a large way for help we for level they right now. And so one for tell una all plenty thank you. If this now your first time for join we want for take this opportunity for officially welcome you to Sheriff's Broadcast Network, and of course for assure you say you don't take the right decision for kind of the right place. And so now so we get for talk about plenty things then today, but then for now let we listen to we own brother Super Large, one of the musical artists of Sierra Leone. All right, stick around with us.
I just wanna live my life, oh yeah, nah. I need my freedom, no network, yeah. I just want me freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom for say words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom from the one with the heads. I just want me freedom. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me freedom. Freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom for say words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom from the one with the heads. I just want me freedom. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me freedom. See, I wanna be free from the world. I wanna be free from the hate, the lies, the una all. I know I want to be free from the law. I want to be the best, the highest, and I top on all. Man, they want chase me, but they be gone. The one we want hate, we no go live long. Tete, Cat House, RFM, LA. No network for the one, no delay. Say, where the youth money, pet, they send a LA. Where they take net truth, you don't send a LA. Where I change salon music, they not send a LA. Where I make bread sell, they not send a LA. What this world is coming to, what direction we going to, what this world is coming to. At the big go, I just want me freedom for the world you want for do. I just want me freedom for the world you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom from the one with the hands. I just want me freedom. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me freedom for the world you want for do. I just want me freedom for the world you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me free from the one with the head. I just want me free. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me yeah, we know today, but we don't know tomorrow. Left, right, talk till you don't know. The rapper them gone. Now me come so pure lyrics, then put inside this. So I took over like AFRC. I like you rap tete, not to for me, huh? Man, I need 3D for see me clearly. I like you use Ferrari, you not go able to chase me. I no gospel for rap, I born with time. I look like they say, I born me time.
I'm the hip-hop best with different parts, and I can get what you get when I mean no one time. I need my freedom like Sarafina. I'm on to the next one, no good time for una. You can tell that I'm progressing. All I want in my life,
I just want me freedom, freedom. For the words I want for you, I just want me freedom, freedom. For the words I want for say, I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the head,
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me freedom, 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 freedom. For the words I want for you, I just want me freedom, freedom. For the words I want for say, I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the head,
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me freedom.
Yo, everything, every general must see a doctor or me. I give them me injection. Everything I do, they turn back for me. I come with LA, they set cool for me. All I need now, freedom for build me own kingdom. Pray to me, God, make it shower me with wisdom for make hard beats. Guide me artist, this is no network volume 1. No, this.
Say where the youths man up at the Sena LA. Where they take knife shoot you, they Sena LA. Where I change salon music, they not Sena LA. Where I make red cell, they not Sena LA. See, I can wonder every day why people like talk. Why not go try for the grow up? You just see me every day, why they double up. Why not go do this in my laptop? They wanna if you see me down, we gonna face me up. And also for the talk for me, things when you not know. I just want me freedom, freedom. For the words I want for you, I just want me freedom, freedom. For the words I want for say, I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the head,
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me freedom, 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 freedom. For the words I want for you, I just want me freedom, freedom. For the words I want for say, I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the head,
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me freedom.
Yes, my family, of course, that's not super large. I want me freedom. LAJ, Freetown, Sierra Leone. I want me freedom. Of course, this is now one of the brothers that we do very well in Creole hip hop now, Sierra Leone. Super large, of course, when I don't say in and Cow Dinero, they always get have issues where they go on. I don't know how that's they go on right now. But what me see now being just a matter of trying to draw attention to themselves, wearing super large say in colonial red, Cow Dinero say in colonial green, and so whenever super large they out with red, in and Cow Dinero they clash, some kind of way, and of course the politicians themselves they begin for buy into that, they begin for use them, so that they knock the aid. But anyway, the music we sing na freedom. Super large say they want in freedom. People that they talk about that, but we in do this, we in do that. People that they talk about that. But when a bill in website, people that not talk about that. So I don't know what is so special about LAJ in website. Where be say if you bill and people that for praise them. Website are common thing nowadays. But anyway, now all old music this. So maybe then telling the website where make them music here. Website now be very important in na Sierra Leone. So that's where you get website. Then of course people that for acclaim to you. But I just like the fact that the title of the music is talking about freedom. But when you listen to the words of the music, it's very personalized to LAJ. And I don't know if this na the mantra or this na the ethics in hip-hop, wherein hip-hop musical artists then they draw unnecessary confusion to themselves. Then they draw unnecessary hatred to themselves, because we don't know which kind of money now LAJ gets, or which kind, fame where it don't get to the extent that people they get for hate time. People that they talk about time, people that they, where they do this, they say na LAJ, where they do this, they say na LAJ. Now LAJ, which kind of thing now we don't do for Sierra Leone, people they get for hate you, right? So this now a problem with Sierra Leonean musical artists, because like how that music they find, so the beat is so danceable, it's so fine. Maybe they expect say LAJ for don't drop some message then inside that music, they wait for uplift people their soul, wait for make Sierra Leoneans they begin for think differently about their country in a positive way. But everything was just about LAJ. But anyway, this now Sierra Leonean musical artists, this is what they do. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was LAJ Super Large, of course, with the track titled Freedom. So today, my family, they will not say plenty things that don't happen at Sierra Leone in the past week. And of course, plenty of we don't see a lot of videos, pictures on social media. Of course, plenty of we don't watch, AYV TV and other media outlets in the country. Plenty of we don't read newspapers. But the difference with all of the media outlets than with Sheriff's Broadcast Network is that on Sheriff's, we actually bring them to the data and analyze them properly for see how the activities there or events that will take place in our country, how it will impact the overall development of our country. Any activity where we government officials, the ordinary people, where then take part in, how the activities there or the events then they go get impact on our country, whether a positive impact or a negative impact, how it go impact our country Sierra Leone. So that's what we do here, and that is exactly what we are going to do. Of course, April 27, when 2 days ago, 2018 makes Sierra Leone turn 57 years after we don't get independence from British colonial rule. Of course, now then they would on knock with chest for say, what in Sierra Leone, we are now matured enough, we are now intelligent enough, we are now patriotic enough for able to take care of our own affairs. So British people then wanna give with government back. And so that was when that happened. 57 years from that time in 1961 until April 27, 2018, waiting Sierra Leone don't go through, waiting we don't achieve, waiting we don't achieve, waiting at some of the events that we don't take place in our country. This is what we are talking about. So in fact, now that can make way plenty people that they try for ask the question, whenever people that they celebrate Sierra Leone's independence, people that they ask the question, what are we celebrating? What really would they celebrate? That is the question. All right. So some of the talking points then tonight, and that's what we are going to talk about. So would they ask that you stick around with us as we continue for bring the programs into Una. Of course, Mina Ibrahim Sheriff, your host on SBN. Stick around with us. All right, and so, my family, then before we go further, we get for bring exclusive news coverage to Una right about this time. Of course, waiting at some of the important news items or news things that we don't have away would consider as news. Now that's what they bring come to Una right now. So stick around with us.
Sierra Leone Bar Association. Press release. The Sierra Leone Bar Association, hereinafter called the Association, is perturbed about events surrounding the convening of the 5th Parliament of the Republic of Sierra Leone, holden at the Parliament Building, Tower Hill, in Freetown, on the 25th day of April 2018. The association notes, The developments culminating into the events of the said the 25th of April 2018, with specific reference to 1. The publication of notices and counter-notices by the Speaker of the last Parliament and the newly appointed Clerk of Parliament. 2. The chaos ensuing from disagreements on the presence of injuncted members of Parliament in the Well of Parliament. 3. The forceful eviction of elected members of Parliament from the Well, by the Sierra Leone police on that day. And 4. The current impasse which hangs over sittings of a properly constituted Parliament as established by law. The Association condemns these incidents and reminds all stakeholders, especially members of the legislature, of their duty to observe and respect the laws of Sierra Leone. In particular the provisions of the Constitution of Sierra Leone Act No. 6 of 1991, uphold the rule of law, foster peace, respect the will of the people of Sierra Leone, and work in the national interest. The association therefore calls on the political leadership of the state to expeditiously and judiciously resolve the issues which have now created a political impasse in the country, in the best interests of the nation. The association reiterates its commitment to work with the government and people of Sierra Leone and all stakeholders to uphold the Constitution, nurture our nascent democracy, and strengthen the nation's peace and stability. Signed, Ashmia Fofana, General Secretary.
Office of the President. Date the 25th of April 2018. Executive Order Number 2. Immediate expenditure control measures. Pursuant to government's continuing commitment to implement expenditure controls as part of its efforts for financing development programs under the New Direction Administration, I hereby direct the following measures for immediate implementation. 1. Vehicle purchase. With immediate effect, purchase of vehicles by all ministries, departments and agencies and public corporations is banned until a new fleet management policy is put in place. 2. Wage bill control. All public sector employees with the exception of those undercharged emoluments and those covered by an Act of Parliament who have attained the retirement age of 60 years are relieved of their duty. Effective May 31, 2018. Accordingly, the Accountant General and the respective heads of MTAs are authorized to remove the names of such persons from the payroll by the date. 3. Payment for fuel, telephone and internet services. Payment for fuel, telephone and internet services to public servants and ministries, departments and agencies for their residences are suspended with immediate effect pending a new benefit policy. 4. Overseas travel. All commitments by MTAs relating to overseas travel including cost of tickets should be within their approved budgets and must be cleared with the Ministry of Finance to ensure they are cost-effective and within budgetary limits. 5. Contract prices. In line with Section 23 of the Bank of Sierra Leone Act 2011, prices for contracts shall be quoted and payable only in the local currency Leone. All existing contracts already quoted in foreign currency shall therefore be paid in Leones. 6. New contracts. All new contracts by MTAs and public corporations should be cleared by the Ministry of Finance to ensure they do not constitute a financial risk to the national budget. 7. Embassies and high commissions. All revenues collected by Sierra Leone's diplomatic missions overseas shall be transferred to the Consolidated Revenue Fund with immediate effect. By the same token, the Ministry of Finance will effect regular disbursements to support their operations. To all political appointees in Sierra Leone's diplomatic missions overseas including ambassadors/high commissioners and all attachés are hereby relieved of their duty effective April 30, 2018. 8. New recruitment. Almsgivers and public corporations shall refrain from any new recruitment without the prior approval of the office of the President. Done this 25th day of April 2018. Signed, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone.
President Bio to launch Presidential Initiative for Teachers and Best National Teachers Award Program by State House Media and Communications Unit. His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio has announced that he will launch a presidential initiative for teachers and introduce the Best National Teachers Award Program. He made the remarks during a statement at the prize-giving and OBA award ceremony of the Bo Government Secondary School, which took place on Saturday the 28th of April 2018 in Bo City. The purpose of the Presidential Initiative for Teachers will be to improve the conditions of service for teachers across the country, while the Best National Teachers Award Program across the country will be to honor and recognize the dedication and commitment of teachers. Explaining the reasons for the two initiatives, President Bio said our teachers will need all the support and capacity building to enable them to do their job with dedication and professionalism. While the President was passionate to support teachers through his laudable initiatives, he also expressed his determination to restore discipline and order in schools, saying, "I will therefore restore discipline and order in our schools and all our learning institutions. The pupil who does not attend school on time and the teacher who is late for school must face disciplinary action." During the statement, President Bio also reiterated his commitment to his free education program. "Let me take this opportunity to assure you all that I will continue to maintain my commitment to free quality education, because this is the foundation and bedrock for my development agenda to change and transform Sierra Leone." Both the Presidential Initiative and the Teachers Award Program will be applauded by teachers across the country, as the President has shown that his commitment to education is not just about quality education for young people, but also caring for the welfare of teachers who will deliver the quality education. During the award ceremony, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio was also awarded by OBA for national politics as the first Bo schoolboy to achieve the topmost position in the land. Later, President Bio was installed as Chief of Chiefs by a galaxy of paramount chiefs. Copyright State House Media and Communications Unit.
You are watching Sherrick's Broadcast Network.
All right, of course, Ibrahim Sheriff's Broadcast Network. That was the news items. Of course, plenty things that happen at Sierra Leone. But I then three the day where we feel say been very important where it happen. Of course, the last one we just see now the president is still try for enhance in education agenda for the country. You know, I'm glad it too much way the president they focus on education, because education very important. Anybody where they look down on education, now person will not for make progress. You know, people then they plenty where they don't see them competent, then they try for pursue education, then they hate you for that. Where we say the same opportunities were available to you, where they try for pursue that education, the same opportunities are available to them, and especially in the diaspora. So that idea they get for change. And of course, we're glad the way the president don't pay special attention to this very important issue. Because when a country is educated, where your population, even if not to 100%, but when you get a large percentage of your country's people educated, that they transform into human resource growth, transform into economic growth, it transform into better healthcare system, it transform into plenty good things for the country. So they make education very important, because when you are educated, you are enlightened, and when you are enlightened, you are knowledgeable. When you are knowledgeable, you get the experience. So nobody know they just come, it can't tell you foolish thing and you follow that person. They know. So plenty of all the bad things that will happen at Sierra Leone, they are partly because of the poor educational qualities in our country. And not to so we've been there until up to 1970s. Sierra Leone have been still the Athens of West Africa. Now only after the 70s now, especially after Odonge one party state where the APC institute, that's when our educational infrastructure begin for good on. And so it is a big kudos to the president where he paid that special attention to education. When in the campaign today, where it talks free education, people that they mock and people that they laugh and people that don't believe. You see, Sierra Leoneans, we have to start believing in ourselves. We have to start to think positively for say, if other countries they don't do them, why we not go do them? You know, we get the best of human resources in the West African sub-region. Salon people that we get sense per smack, we smart. Anything we'll put your attention to, we they do them to perfection. So why would they downgrade yourself? Why would they doubt yourself? Why would we say things where other countries they don't do what they admire them for? Why we not go able for do them? So anyway, Mr. President, I raise my hat up to you. Would they pray for you for let God go help you for let you go able for pursue this agenda to the fullest. I think saying a very good thing when you try for pursue this agenda is a good thing for the country. And of course, the other thing we been there inside the news now the wage bill. I mean the expenditure control measures where the president don't talk about. Now, this is something where right now the people of Liberia we mean well for the country. They don't put to behind the president for me adopt them same things here where President Julius Maada Bio don't adopt na Sierra Leone. Because this is not some of the ways that way they combat corruption, where you know they dignify them at all. You control how the country they spend money, not to just for pull and more talk, now for actually put some action into what they say. Like for vehicle purchase, it don't talk say all the ministries, the departments and agencies in the country, nobody know they buy motorcar right now until it approve say therefore begin for buy motorcar again. Where it be say that budget or fleet management policy they don't put it into place again for buy new motorcar. Nobody know they buy motorcar like how they buy 50 fat at Friday. I mean we not be understand for say there is the Ministry of Transportation when that is supposed for buy vehicles on behalf of the sitting government. But then during this government vehicle recovery program, we make for understand for say different ministries, departments and agencies were buying their own vehicles without even the Ministry of Transport knowing for say then the MDAs and they buy them motorcar then they. We then buy will not get any national database whose side will they put all things so that we're gonna say this ministry, this department, this government agency then get X amount of vehicles we then buy using the consolidated fund. And so at the end of the day, if not for track them or to carry them, it's easy for track them. But the thing they all over the place. Now that may way plenty of people that be the guy for thief the motorcar them, you know, pull the engine and come out, run away with the motorcar and go to other states, I mean other country that with them motorcar them. Maada Bio say, hey, get for stop. No more buying of vehicles. If vehicle then get for buy, it get for go through the fleet management policy. And when that happens, that means it go through one government channel. Ministry of Education, if you need motorcar, you go through one channel. Ministry of Health, you know, different departments, agencies, you go through one channel to get your vehicle. And when you go through that channel, the president is going to know other departments and get for know. So I feel saying that a very important, you know, control measure that one day. How about the wage bill? People in their way, they don't reach retirement in Sierra Leone, but they are still on the payroll. Now the president don't talk say effective May 31st, 2 days from now, all them people in there for retire. And when they retire, they get for create the proper framework for them. If they get for get retirement, then go to get retirement. But if they are not supposed to be working again, when they don't reach the age of 60, they are supposed to retire, right? Because when they retire, then they create way for the other young people that we don't come out college, we don't get job for, may they occupy them spaces and may they occupy them vacant positions. That is how government is supposed to operate. So the president say it control that one day as well. How about payment for fuel, telephone and internet services? You know, say then one day we work now the MDAs, now the ministries, departments and agencies, they buy their fuel and for the motorcar the 50 fatter. telephone cost, you know, that they call abroad to any side that they on that phone forever, where they bill they on government, then get internet service now they host them. The president say that they suspend all that one day until they find out if those things are supposed to be operating that way. They. How about the one day where they travel go overseas? They don't now talk say before you where they work in a ministry or where they work in a department, where they work in an agency. If your work description don't talk say you for travel abroad for go do your job, you then for make sure say the Ministry of Finance don't approve of your tickets. They know who say they go. They know how much you buy that ticket. All of that before you go that go day. I love these things that are coming down. Of course, how about even contract practices? They don't talk say then contracts the way government may they contract with other, you know, people them or other agencies or other companies, other governments. They say they all therefore pay the inside Leones. They don't pay nobody inside dollar anymore. Nobody, they don't pay you inside dollar. And all new contracts, they say therefore hold off on, you know, going into new contracts, or then new contracts and therefore be approved by the Ministry of Finance before ever the contract they go into effect. And of course, all Sierra Leone embassies abroad, effective tomorrow, matter of fact, effective tomorrow when I May 30th. All the embassies, then the one they win ambassadors, the one they work at the embassies, then all they don't relieve them of their duties, and they are going to be either replaced or some of them are going to be stayed in those places. But for now, they have been relieved of their duties. And any money that they make on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone, therefore put that money they immediately na the consolidated funds, right? And so me feel say this na very responsible actions on the part of the government of Sierra Leone, especially, you know, headed by this president. You know, people that be the doubt Madabio. They say this guy not the talk, he too dull, he too quiet, he not to the kind person who fit for presidency. Well, now you don't see how many man they institute in policies then at the country, right? So that is what was in the news. And of course, the other one that was in the news was about a National Teachers Award program, right? And see the man educational, you know, agenda that one day. The National Teachers Award program. Of course, teachers then nowadays, then, you know, when you work hard, then go give you a national award of recognition for your job. This is to motivate, inspire, and entice the teachers then at the country for making them able to work well. And then it don't talk say student where they go school late and teacher where they go now in job late, then they discipline them all too. You know, so not to it just feel like a, you know, first world. Like when you go to school, now places like United States, United Kingdom, and all the other developed countries, where you don't take your class done. The teacher, they mark you paper, you self they mark you teacher. For see, they take a survey of the teacher for tell the administration of the school if this teacher is a good teacher, if you teach you well, if you sabi what you be the teach, where you be the asking questions, if you be the answer well, waiting a manner of approach. So why is the teacher they grade you? You self they grade the teacher. So in that kind of environment, you go see say all man they try for compete. The teacher they compete, the student they compete. This is quality education. Oh my God, Madam you don't start fine. You know, people then they when a pessimist them, when they talk say, now so Anes by Kroma be start. Let us get 1 year no more. Instead they go back. I mean, why are you wishing this man to go back into that kind of, you know, way? Because Anes by Kroma don't behave so you they expect Mother to do so, or you are wishing the sitting president for may go in that direction too. If they go in that direction, not to failure for Sierra Leone as a country. Oh, Salon people then. We'll get for veer away from all of these negative thoughts. But anyway, my family, this is not independence time. This is not the time where Sierra Leone as a country they get for come out under the British, right? Where the SLPP government headed by late Sami Timagai then go to Lancaster House, the whole series of discussions about independence, Sierra Leone getting independence, and of course now that they gone. So let us see how that independence transformation, everything will be happen at Freetown on the day of that independence. Let's see that. All right, stick around with us.
holiday town held here as Independence Day drew near. Divine service on the previous Sunday in St. George's Cathedral was a Thanksgiving at which the Archbishop of York officiated. An air of rejoicing could be sensed everywhere. In the colony and protectorate of Sierra Leone, there has been none of the strife which elsewhere has sometimes preceded the granting of independence. Visible on all sides was the joy of people welcoming their new status, happy that they would soon be standing on their own feet. But there was no resentment of their past colonialism. Long affection between the British and the Creoles ensured a smooth changeover. Evidence that Independence Day was rapidly approaching was the arrival of the Duke of Kent. His Royal Highness represented the Queen. He was welcomed by Sir Maurice Dorman, the Governor of Sierra Leone, who presented Lady Dorman. Premier Sir Milton Margai presented the many important people who had come from all over the colony to pay their respects. The Guard of Honor was paid the compliment of a proper inspection by a professional soldier. The Duke was enthusiastically acclaimed all the way from the airport to the city boundary of Freetown. As far back as 1799, Freetown received its royal charter. Now, the mayor and aldermen welcomed the Duke with a loyal address and presented him with a gold key bearing the crest of the city. The forms of British municipal government are punctiliously observed. After that ceremony, the Duke drove to Government House, where he stayed for the next few days. Next day, there was a regatta, mainly an affair of canoe racing, with the type of craft used in unloading merchant ships at places on the West African coast where there are no harbors. Not all the fun was on the water. At Brookfield's recreation ground, there was a display of traditional dancing. At the Government House garden party, the Duke met most of the important persons of the colony and protectorate, presented by the Governor and Lady Dorman. The colony, established at Freetown and its surroundings, is peopled by the Creoles, descended from the liberated slaves who settled there in the late 18th century. The protectorate consists of the hinterland, inhabited by a variety of tribes, mostly Muslims. British control of it dates from the 1890s. The Duke earned praise by the friendly manner with which he won the confidence of the guests. He spoke to nearly all of them, certainly to representatives of every part of the protectorate. It all seemed to indicate that the old antagonisms between the Creoles and the tribesmen will disappear when independence gives to all of them the feeling that Sierra Leoneans are one nation, women included. Under the new constitution, the House of Representatives will be open to women members. The first one to be elected is Madam Ella Gulama on the left. Madam Ella sits for the Moyamba district. How different it must all have been for rulers in the hill country not far away, and little touched as yet by European ways. Sierra Leone's Prime Minister, Sir Milton Margai, was a happy man as he drove to the state opening of Parliament. Cameraman Pat Whitaker headed the Pathé film team, putting on record this historic day in the life of the country. The Queen, in sending her cousin to represent her on this day, underlined the close ties between the royal house and the colony and protectorate. The representatives were already assembled to hear the Duke read the speech from the throne. In that message, Her Majesty welcomed Sierra Leone into the Commonwealth family of nations. Then, as her representative, the Duke conveyed the royal instruments of Sierra Leone independence to the Prime Minister, Sir Milton Margai. All over the country, it was the signal for rejoicing, much of it expressed in dancing.
Right, of course, so many family when I see how interesting that was. You know, then 10 and day, can you imagine in 1961? I mean, once you are like, but wait you wouldn't watch now. Madam Ella Koblo grandmother in bag way whole line. I like that in bag. I can still remember, you know, way back, you know, women have been small because I think they want me and Tibi get that kind of bag, they will get that flower upon them, right? I don't see that woman, they will be there around and remember them bag in day. But anyway, that was a very nice bag. She looks so nice, she looks so pretty. I mean, Ella Koblo grandmother be fine woman. Anyway, you know, now we're granting, so we not going to talk too much about her rights now. But anyway, so we found with them, when a country don't talk, say, it don't get independence. Waiting that mean? That means you're able for stand on your own now. You don't get for open your hand again for go begin the big. Now you go able for, you don't become self-sufficient. You don't become self-reliant. You don't build your human and, you know, material resources. You don't build them. The capacity. So now you're able to stand on your own. That is what independence means. And I know say then 10 and the way Samiti Maga then we go for that Independence Day. Sierra Leone we've been capable of taking care of ourselves if only we'll be continue with the tradition we've been already there in place. Now it make after independence in 1961 all the way to 1977 everything be intact inside Sierra Leone. The roads them been fine, the education have been quality education. Of course, Sierra Leone have been still the Athens of West Africa. You know, pump water be they run fine, people that they drink tap water. You know, food be they all over the place. You know, the train be there where they bring food from the provinces, from Penembo all the way to Freetown. Everything be they run according to how they're supposed to run. Right? But then all them things that they change under the one-party system. You know, in 1978, once you don't get that one-party system, then now APC don't begin to interfere directly into the works of the civil service and the judicial system. Then, of course, 1980, Shaka Stevie don't bring the OAU conference now Sierra Leone. Now they everything better now we hand, everything point. And so, you know, today when I see plenty of young people, them they dance, you know, they jubilate, they celebrate independence. I they really doubt waiting and they celebrate. What are we celebrating? You know, me not be one person way back, about I think about a couple of years back, me not been chairman for Collective Sierra Leoneans na the Philadelphia Axis na United States. You know, now we be the champion the independence celebrations. Then now we be there before. Now we be they become so hyped. Will they become so ready that nobody know the thing before we foretell. We say, hey, not celebrate Salon independence. You know, we are so hyped. We are so ready for it. But then we been get this one person inside with community. When I be a medical doctor, may he so rest in peace now. They always tell we say, you know, okay, don't go to him for like a guide. We like give you advice. They will get patron tickets them. And they tell we say, guys, what are you guys celebrating? He said we should have been better to remain under the British. We don't come under them. He said because we say we get independent, but we still big. Every day na big with the. What are we celebrating? Right? And so up to today, I asked that question. And up to yesterday, I asked that question to a key member of we own community, Usawude. Now then they organize independence. I asked her, I said, but what are we celebrating? Now it vexed for me. He said, Ibrahim, not ask me that question. They not ask me that question. You didn't ask me. I said, yes. What are we celebrating? But anyway, let us see how that decide we get from it, Sierra Leoneans in London, and how they celebrate the 57th independence anniversary in the UK. Let's see that, right?
Police. Corruption selector.
Yes, of course. So, from that, Saj, of course, it is celebrated inside England, of course, that the Saj, of course, on the 57th independence anniversary. So, it is a good thing for us to celebrate our independence only if APC not be done a la Kiwi, it not be done plunge we into mayhem. And you see, now that make we are not able to understand which type of human beings belong to the APC. Like, are they real human beings or they belong to another planet? Who said then come out with then can Sierra Leone? Because then they still refuse to accept the fact say that they contribute largely to the predicament who say will country right now. Then they agree for acceptance. And I make we they continue for telling the truth until they accept the fact for say they are actually responsible for who say with it they like it today. Now, my family, the way we can do them, we know they do them with malice. Because you see, Sierra Leone is a country where we get plenty of interrelations where they go on there. Intermarriages, interrelations, we are all brothers and sisters. But when your brother don't do you bad, or your sister don't do you bad, you for tell her the truth. When you tell her that truth, they know the poor family. So now that make way plenty of we get to your man them. With brothers, with friends, inside the APC. But anytime we talk, they Ibampan them, seriously. Even last night, we Ibampan some of them. We can argue, say they want to argue, no, we Ibampan them, seriously. So we'll get for to do that until sanity comes in. But when you see Sierra Leoneans and they celebrate independence, they are doing it genuinely, because every country, the people in another country, that they're supposed to celebrate their independence. But after when they don't celebrate the independence, don't clean out. Some man not get food for eat. Some man not able for go school. Some man not get job. Some man in Pekin sick, not able for Menam. not able for Krango Hospital for Menam. Let the doctors they take care of them. You know, all the catastrophes in the country. So what are we celebrating? Right? But anyway, with the new agenda where the new president gets, hopefully we are thinking for, say, you know, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. So let us listen to His Excellency retired Brigadier General Julius Madabio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, as he give the 57th Independence Anniversary speech at State House in Freetown. Let's watch that.
During my swearing-in on 4th April 2018 as President of the Republic, I said that my election and my new administration is the dawn of a new era to change and transform Sierra Leone. As a nation, we must resolve to use this opportunity to change and transform our beloved Sierra Leone. We have to resolve as a nation to lay the strong and credible foundation for our children. During my swearing-in on 4th April 2018 as President of the Republic, I said that my election and my new administration is the dawn of a new era to change and transform Sierra Leone. As a nation, we must resolve to use this opportunity to change and transform our beloved Sierra Leone. We have to resolve as a nation to lay the strong and credible foundation for our children. During my swearing-in on 4th April 2018 as President of the Republic, I said that my election and my new administration is the dawn of a new era to change and transform Sierra Leone. As a nation, we must resolve to use this opportunity to change and transform our beloved Sierra Leone. We have to resolve as a nation to lay the strong and credible foundation for our children. During my swearing-in on 4th April 2018 as President of the Republic, I said that my election and my new administration is the dawn of a new era to change and transform Sierra Leone. As a nation, we must resolve to use this opportunity to change and transform our beloved Sierra Leone. We have to resolve as a nation to lay the strong and credible foundation for our children. During my swearing-in on 4th April 2018 as President of the Republic.
Oh, my family, I'm so sorry. Of course, that's not the wrong clip way of the president in speech. We'll bring him to now, but we'll go try as much as possible for bring him the actual clips to now. Of course, that was just a short one. We have the actual clip that we'll bring to you. But anyway, so me family, you know, now that's now some of the things that we are very much sad about our country. Wherein, you know, it is so sad that after we don't celebrate all this independence and everybody is supposed to be happy, and then after that, you know, they don't clean out, you don't get food for eat, you know, you become sick, you not get side for Krango. Even if you get side for Krango, you not get money, you know, for Menam, for lady doctors and take care of them. That is a problem, right? But anyway, let us see the president's speech right now.
Fellow Sierra Leoneans, today we are celebrating the 57th anniversary of our independence. This has been a momentous year that has taken us through the tragedy of the floods and mudslide in August 2017. But at the same time, for the hopes and aspirations of millions of Sierra Leoneans who voted for change in a new direction to develop and transform our beloved nation. Today, we have a new opportunity as a nation to collectively and individually work together to take this country forward, to develop and transform Sierra Leone that we can all be proud of. During my swearing in on 4th April 2018 as President of the Republic, I said that my election and my new administration is the dawn of a new era to change and transform Sierra Leone. As a nation, we must resolve to use this opportunity to change and transform our beloved Sierra Leone. We have to resolve as a nation to lay the strong and credible foundation for our children and our grandchildren. This is the only way to create the conditions for a united, peaceful, confident, enterprising, dynamic, and progressive country. As we celebrate 57 years of our independence, we have to acknowledge the fact that as a nation, we are at a crossroad, and that we are faced with the stark choice between corrupt and the indisciplined business as usual, status quo, or a change in a new direction, where every Sierra Leonean is given the ladder of opportunity to climb and achieve their greatest potential. We have to ask ourselves that after 57 years of independence, what do we have to show for? As a nation, we have made great strides in laying some of the critical foundations for socio-economic and political development. Today, we can confidently say that we have now laid the foundation to consolidate our nascent democracy after holding 5 successive democratic elections that have seen the transfer of power from one civilian administration to the other. After 57 years of political independence, we are still faced with some of the most critical problems and challenges of development and social progress. At 57, we are not able to pay for our basic and essential services as a nation without depending on external development assistance. We have not provided effective political and economic management of the state and our natural resources for the benefit of all Sierra Leoneans. We are still classified as one of the poorest countries and the most corrupt country in the world. At 57, Sierra Leone has changed from the international recognition as the Athens of West Africa to a country where 3 in every 5 Sierra Leonean cannot read and write. At 57, we are today a divided nation along ethnic, regional, and sectional lines, with very negative impact on the professionalism and functioning of our state governing institutions. These depressing social and development challenges have to change. I have been given the mandate to change and transform this country, and I will provide the disciplined leadership needed to take this country forward. I have therefore directed that, given the current economic and financial crisis that we have inherited, there should be no budgetary allocation from the Ministry of Finance to fund independence celebration activities across the country. My government will only fund future independence celebration across the country when, as a nation, we are able to pay for critical and basic services without relying on any external development aid. My government will only approve future funding for independence celebration activities when our domestic revenue collection make up 20% of our gross domestic product. As a government, we are determined to lay the solid foundation for change and transformation in Sierra Leone. Already, the signs and achievements of our new direction revolution is visible everywhere. The Executive Order Number 1, issued on 9th April 2018 on domestic revenue mobilization, and Executive Order Number 2, issued on 25th April 2018 on fiscal control measures, have made it possible for my new administration to pay salaries for the first time without using bank overdraft facility. These domestic revenue mobilization efforts by my new administration clearly shows that change is possible in this country. The people of this country have voted for change. We all want change, but we must also be prepared to work for change and accept the challenges that change will bring. This is the price that we have to pay as a nation to change and transform our beloved Sierra Leone. Expectations are high, and rightly so. The people want to see immediate and visible changes in their lives. We can only achieve change and transformation in Sierra Leone today if we work together to build national cohesion and end the culture of indiscipline, lawlessness, and corruption. We want to attract and tap into the best brains and expertise that this country has to offer to drive our new direction: inclusive development, inclusive economic growth, inclusive politics, and inclusive governance programs. This is the only way to develop and transform Sierra Leone, and together we can and we will make this possible. My government recognizes and appreciates the important contribution made by our development partners, and I do call on them to join us and support our new direction, policies, and programs to change and transform Sierra Leone into a country that will no longer be dependent on aid. Congratulations on our 57th independence anniversary. I wish you all a happy and memorable 57th anniversary day. God bless the people and the Republic of Sierra Leone. Thank you.
Right, of course, that was His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, retired Brigadier General Julius Maada Bio, on the speech where he gave about the 57th independence anniversary for Sierra Leone. Of course, inside that speech, there plenty information there where the President shared with we, but some of the information we may really like. Now, his call for unity, for Sierra Leone come together and work together. And we all the yearn for development, we the yearn for change. But that change is only possible if we all work for them, if we make sacrifices, if we work together for let us achieve that change day. Then adjust the leadership, but with your cooperation, we all go able to achieve that change day. And it talks say for the first time inside this administration, the country don't able for pay salaries to public sector workers without going for any bank overdraft because of the policies that were put in place. You know, like the fiscal control policies we don't put in place, what we don't talk about in the past. And the other policies, them, it don't make a pay workers them without any bank overdraft, right? You remember we Julius Maada Bio bin just take over as president, there was the fear for say because of the kind country, the kind of finances of the country where they inherit, that it was almost going to be impossible for let the government able for pay workers for the month of April. But now they're not able for pay workers for the month of April without any bank overdraft because of the fiscal measures the way they put in place. So it tell we say by the success of that fiscal policy, where they're able for pay workers without going into bank overdraft, that don't show say change is possible in Sierra Leone. All we get for do is for let work effectively. We put the country first. We put the country above ourselves. All the corruption, everything we left out. That is what we have to do. So again, the president they on the right track, and of course, when somebody they do something from the goodness of his heart, you don't know. We know kalu no depana, you don't know directly, right? So, my family, in the past week, of course, we don't see Parliament. We don't suppose for start the procedures, parliamentary procedures in the country, wherein the lawmakers then go na Parliament for me then put things there into place for me then start the proper parliamentary procedures then. But then we see plenty halala come out inside that whole procedure. But you know, for some people that we don't know, waiting at the reason we make the halala happen. Na the parliament, let me give you an idea so that you know exactly what will happen. According to we constitution our country, we constitution don't talk say for let anybody turn up, for let them vote for you, for be a parliamentarian, for go to parliament, for be a lawmaker, for then at that parliament for represent any constituency, you get for first of all resign from any position where you hold in public sector and government. You get for resign your positions. And so plenty of APC people in they where they behold positions in government, where they not resign from their position in they, and at the same time they run for parliamentary seats in their constituencies. So the people then go ahead and then go vote for them. So they win, they're supposed for going to parliament. Now, no other authority now they way pass the will of the people. When the people they don't vote for the representatives, then no other authority now they way pass that one. The only authority way pass people the way they vote now the court. So what in the SLPP do? They self take the APC parliamentarians. They will not be resigned from their positions. Then where they vote for them as parliamentarians, then can go that issue they na court. And when they go na court, the court put injunction on all them APC parliamentarians then for me they not participate in any parliamentary procedures until the court pass a judgment or investigate that case they pass a judgment on that they not for do anything. So that's not be the injunction where they put on the APC parliamentarians. But then the APC parliamentarians, knowing them as we know them, then defy the court order, then violate the court order, then grab, then still go to parliament. And so when they go to parliament, they not just go sit down suffer, they raise their hand, they begin for talk about, you know, why they for dinner parliament and all that thing and they. When they go to parliament, they begin for cause confusion. They begin for cause halala. The papers, they all the parliamentary documents, they begin kick inside. They begin scatter things them. Of course, we all don't see plenty of them images than they on social media in this past week. So now the clerk of the house, when are irresponsible for control waiting they happen inside the house, when are honorable parentarily, instead of call police tell them say, when I can't pull them out, then people are come out inside parliament because then they disrupt the procedures in this parliament. So now some people then they will get problem with the fact that no police not for interfere inside waiting parliament they do. Because now three separate arms of government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So the police belong to the judiciary arm of the government. So they're not for interfere inside waiting parliament they do. Well, that is not correct. Because the work of the police is to keep order in a country at whatever level. If they don't see say there is confusion where they go on, or there is disruption of procedures, especially in the people's house, the police have the moral authority and the national responsibility for making them able to bring order back into that house. Because the way with the APC they be the cause confusion inside parliament, there was no indication that they were ready to stop that whole confusion. In fact, their whole motive was to disrupt the entire procedure and make the parliament dysfunctional, and by extension to make the country ungovernable. That's what they were trying to do. And so when the police then come inside, then drive them come on and do. And you know, me family, if APC they not be careful, then go end up not get no seats inside that parliament. Because in the parliament, House of Parliament, no confusion for the you wake up with confusion, they drive you come on and do. And when you come on and do, the work of the house will continue. They're not wait for you until you come back inside. When you come on and do, the work of the house is going to continue. And indeed, the work of the house continue. So if APC then are people that were not to talk, then if they really understand procedural steps in democracy, therefore don't keep them silence, then go according to the dictates of the procedures, right? So we'll be get for your way, kind of young killer be get for talk about that, but we'll go count to that later. But for now, let me just see how the situation will look like inside parliament. Let us see that. All right.
slowly making way out. So we see that there is sort of a confrontation. Usai Usman Tingo, they refused to come forward. We see Mohamed Bangura, they call him, say, let them not sit down, let them come in solidarity for come and say no to the oath taking. But we see Usman Timbo not agree for come, as he still team up the end as soon as they see with another lady and in other parts of them. The front view of the parliament, we see inside the House of Parliament, really jam-packed where disruption not go on for the oath taking. Inside APC, and still they chant the party song, the anthem. So meanwhile, we see Dr. Kande Kole Yumpela sit down quietly, they observe waiting the goal, and we see members of parliament from the SRPP. We see inside the mask. We see inside members of the People's Congress, the mask and the Turan and the Bandi, where the normally come for Kandi to the members of parliament, where they are for swear in. We see that along the mask and the camera front. And on the other side, you see members of parliament designated from the Leone People's Party. They're all seated quietly, one for man, some by them team up, and not they give any response as at now. So even up in the gallery, we see people are all them phone there. They only observe the situation because just the question that they say yesterday, this is bad for our democracy, and at this time that we country, we're thinking about moving forward, that this may happen at the House of Parliament, where the body were responsible for make laws and work on this law there. So before ever, then they send them to the public for interpretation and for implementation. So still we see people right now from the SRPP, the NPC, the all the here.
Yes, and so my family, waiting with see right now on the screen, waiting happen at Parliament in the past week. Of course, that's the APC crowd, and they right in the well of Parliament, and they are not letting the procedures to continue. And so this been there for warrants. The clerk of the house for call in the police for letting they can't get them out. And right, definitely that is Honorable Parantalori. That's the clerk of the house. They don't make the house very ungovernable right about this time, and so this is what we are talking about. You know, with everything with the APC they do in Parliament or in government for 10 years, you see the main opposition, Sierra Leone People's Party, nobody ever do anything like this. This is sending a very bad reputation about us as Sierra Leoneans. This is the people's house. They don't make them very ungovernable right now. And of course, that is Dr. Kande Koleon-Kela, which he talk after that whole commotion. We therefore can analyze them as well. So that is exactly what happened in Parliament on that day. And of course, that is what happened on that day. And this would talk about the APC, what they're capable of doing. You know, I mean, for 10 years, APC they in governance, they don't violate the constitution of Sierra Leone, they don't violate plenty things them. The main opposition, Sierra Leone People's Party, not ever do anything of this nature. But this is what they have done, right? Okay, and so one of the presidential candidates way they propel this message of change. Now Sierra Leone, now being Dr. Kande Koleon-Kela, of course, he talked plenty about change. Then he happens to be a member of Parliament now Sierra Leone right about this time, and of course we also see him is sitting right inside Parliament where all these things the commotion they go on. So my family we want for know within Kande Koleon-Kela talk about everything what happened. And one for tell plenty thank you to AYV TV for where they make them possible for interview. So let's listen to Kande Koleon-Kela for know what he say about this whole saga. Right? Stick around.
Alhaji Dr. Kande Koleon-Kela, Honorable Member of Parliament, and he is one of the members of Parliament who abstained from voting today here in the Well of Parliament. He and 3 of the other members of the National Grand Coalition. So he is going to speak with us and tell us why he abstained from voting this afternoon. Good afternoon, welcome to AYV Television.
Good afternoon, thank you for having me. The bottom line is NGC, we're always for constitutionality, and we will not support anything that we don't consider constitutional. We saw this morning a spectacle that has never occurred in this parliament. Troops of policemen forcibly removing 68 members of this parliament, which is about 45-48% of members. That is unprecedented. It is wrong. We cannot replace APC on constitutionality with junta democracy. It is not possible. So we cannot support any process we consider that removes so many people from parliament. So our abstention is not in objection to the speaker. Our objection is to the process. The constitution is clear. All members should be here. The standing orders are clear. All members should be here. So on principle, we cannot support a process or participate to validate a process that we believe is against the Constitution. We're here elected by people.
All right. Now, according to Honorable Sida Tunis, who nominated Dr. Abbas Bundu to be elected as Speaker of the House, he said precedents had already been set when the last Parliament decided to elect a speaker without present 2 members of the Sierra Leone People's Party who had been duly elected to be members of Parliament.
2 people out of 112.
Yes, he did mention the difference there is just the number.
It's significant. 2 out of 112 is not the same as 68 out of 146. You're talking almost half. When half the parliament is absent, it is wrong. Second, for me, the key principle, this is a sacred house. We cannot have troops of police removing people here in large numbers. It is wrong for the record. I know it will be recorded in the Hansa. I am here representing people because of democracy. I have been a victim, and let me make it clear. Everybody knows I'm not a friend of APC. They fought me till 2 days before the election. I am not a sympathizer of APC. Otherwise, I would have walked out with them. No. I am challenging bringing policemen here, forcibly removing members. It is wrong for democracy, and I can never support that. Now, democracy, I don't support.
Now, according to the clerk, those members who were forcibly removed were in contempt of parliament because he had asked them to resume their seats after they had protested the removal of 16 of their members who had an injunction slammed against their participation here today.
For NGC, we strongly believe in separation of powers. There is a clear distinction. We don't take instructions from the executive, and we don't want the judiciary also trying to obstruct a parliamentary process. We are guided by the Constitution. I consulted judges, I consulted lawyers. So for me and the NGC, we stand on principle. We will not endorse any processes that are undemocratic. We are victims of undemocratic practices. We cannot. So we stood by what we believe for morality and constitutionality, and we acted accordingly because we are here for the people.
All right, now moving forward, we have already seen some amount of segregation for the National Grand Coalition, as we have seen several members of parliament here referring to the National Grand Coalition as etc., and not mentioning the names. So how do you think that would all play out, given you are needed here, you were voted in to represent your people here in parliament?
We will do what we have to. We are not here to be praised. We're here to represent our people and to work under the Constitution. So me personally, I'm not here for people to recognize me. I am here to do the people's work. The people's work means high morality and constitutionality. My father was a member of parliament in 1957 already. So I grew up in a tradition of respecting the rule of law. So any sign, anytime, don't forget, I did not yield to even Anes Kuruma or APC with all their shenanigans. I am here through hard work and also believing that, yes, rule of law must prevail. So for me, I'm not looking for praise. My colleagues also in the NGC, we're simply here to work. We have said we want to be a constructive opposition. We will work with government. We will also work with the opposition. And when we have differences, we stand alone. That is why we're here. We're not here to curry favor.
All right, so in your opinion or in your judgment, are you saying what happened here today should not have happened? We should not have seen the election of a speaker and a deputy speaker, given that half of the parliament was not present?
I believe we should have debated it. I strongly believe we should have debated it. Having a gag rule, preventing people debating when almost 50% of the parliament is forcibly removed, I think is not good for democracy. That is my belief, and I hope it is recorded that I stood up when others could not do it. I stand for morality and constitutionality. I am here for a purpose. I am elected by my people, so I'll always speak what I believe, not out of fear or favor.
All right, thank you very much for joining us here. This is AYV Television.
All right, of course, so me family, when I don't see that's not Dr. Kande Koleyom Kela of the NGC, the National Grand Coalition, of course, we talk here. And so I don't get any idea why Dr. Kande Kela they continue for do these things to himself and to the NGC. I know say plenty NGC members, then they with me don't talk to. They don't agree with you, Dr. Kande Kela. They don't agree with you. Number one, just like I would give the explanation about why, in fact, this injunction happened. One of the reasons is that there was a court order putting an injunction on all the APC parliamentarians who had not been resigned in positions before they were elected as members of parliament. And there cannot be any other authority where they are above the court order. Because even at parliament, if anything go wrong, when they refer am to the court. Now the court get for go interpret wetin happen and pass judgment. So if the court don't put an injunction on these people, if they needed a debate like how you talk, therefore don't can sit down quietly like how the clerk of the house told them to return to their seats. The clerk of the house said that. He said, return to your seats. They refused. They said, no. They tin up na the well of the parliament. Then they caused confusion. Then they hid the documents. Then they mass the thing. They were destroying state property. And there was no indication for say they were ready to stop. Their intention was to continue to disrupt the procedures and if possible to prevent the parliamentary procedures there. And by extension to make the country ungovernable. So how can you stay there, Dr. Kande Yomkela, and talk say the police they know for don't can't drive them inside the house? It is the responsibility of the police to keep law and order anywhere in Sierra Leone, including inside of the parliament. If there are people who are trying to disrupt parliamentary procedures, police can come in and get them out. When they go put themselves together, they go come back in if the procedures they allow them to do that. And why is then they left that house there? The procedures will continue. This is a national assembly. It's the parliament of the country. This not a house will belong to APC. This house belongs to the entire country. You cannot hold the entire country down by your own misbehavior. If you get any issues with the procedures, you sit down, you put your hand up, somebody speak on your behalf, and when I go through the proper debate, like what candidate talk about, we should have debated. The clerk of the house was telling them to go back to their seats. If they had gone back to their seats, probably the debate should have taken place. But they refused to go back to their seats. Right? They refused to go back to their seats. You see Mohamed Bangura, they call incompetent for Medenkai, almost one vex panel. For Medenkai at the well of the parliament for cause confusion. So you see, the one that always be the Falakane Yomkela, when I don't see how this Maya, you see, it is different to be an executive in the United Nations and be a politician where you want for help people. Can they in the future say it's a be all thing that they get this monopoly of knowledge that anything where they in brain, nine are the best, that other people are not sabi nothing. And when they can go to they work with food, from the day we can they come out UN, we can join politics in Sierra Leone. Every decision we don't make, the decision has not been good for him. It has not been good for the people who have been following him. He looks so glamorous. We don't tin up, we talk, you see, you want for born boy picking. But when they take decisions, the decisions are so poor. You know, they call the democracy a junta democracy. We cannot replace the APC autocracy or dictatorship with junta democracy. Now, where is the junta? The only government they refer to as junta, now a military government. So are you referring to the NPLC where Madabio was part of? So indirectly, you are now referring to the head of state for that matter. Why are you taking all this route? These are unnecessary routes where they take. I don't say you they still grieve, you don't believe the way Sierra Leonean people they move. But you get for move on. These now the Sierra Leonean people that don't vote, they don't talk, say not to attempt this for rule this country. So if you get that bad that they still, it get for turn into a disease because it not get for well. So my family, this is very, 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 very bad. Anyway, let us see that whole thing then once more.
At the well of parliament, between the APC parliamentarians, they are about to do the swearing to take the oath of parliamentary seat. And then the APC parliamentarians refuse to be quiet, and then all of them get up from their seats and they are disturbing the process presently. This is a video of what is happening presently in parliament. They are singing their APC song. This man is the Mohamed Bangura. This is Mohamed Bangura that you have been hearing about. He's the one dancing. You see what they are doing? Scattering all of the documents on the floor, stepping up on them. See, look at the document. They have thrown all of the documents on the floor, Mom. You see what the APC are doing?
All right, so me found that APC and waiting and capable of doing. That's what they have just demonstrated out there. Of course, now this is what they talk about, right? This is exactly what we are talking about that way APC can do. So if SLPP been maintaining cool for 10 years, they don't do stuff like this, even though they went ahead and violated the constitution for so long. Why are you doing this? But anyway, so the parliamentary procedures that we get for continue. And the warning to APC is that if APC they not be careful, but now then say for drive themselves in parliament. Because again, this is the house belonging to the entire country. This house does not belong to APC. You cannot stall any process in that house. And so you get to think about this very seriously. Because if they continue for kick una out, then you don't become part of the proceedings. And the work of the house get for continue, right? So this is what they did. But anyway, me family them back to we get for come back to the independence, because actually it is independence, and of course now that's not the main thing we talk about this week. Of course, with some of them things and they will happen at Parliament. So we want for may you stick around as we continue for bring the programs, then stick around with us.
I just wanna live my life, oh yeah, I need my freedom, no network, yeah, I just want me freedom. Freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom. Freedom for say words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom. From the one with the heads. I just want me freedom. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me freedom. 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 Freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom. Freedom for say words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom. From the one with the heads. I just want me freedom. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me freedom. See, I wanna be free from the world. I wanna be free from the hate, the lies, the una all. I don't want to be free from the law. I want to be the best, the highest, and I top on all. Man, they want chase me, but they be strong. The one who hates me, no go live long. Tete, Cat House, RFM, LA. No network for them, one, no delay. Where the youths money, they send a LA. Where they take net truth, you don't send a LA. Where I change salon music, you don't send a LA. Where I make bread sell, you don't send a LA. What this world is coming to, what direction we're going to, what this world is coming to. At the big goal, I just want me freedom, freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom, freedom for the words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom. From the one with the hands. I just want me freedom. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me freedom, 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 freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom, freedom for the words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom. From the one with the hands. I just want me freedom. They gotta beg me, they beg. I just want me yeah, we know today, but we don't know tomorrow. Left, right, talk till you don't know. The rapper them gone, now me come so. Pure lyrics, then put beside this, so I took over like AFRC. I like you rap tete, not to for me, huh? Man, I need 3D for see me clearly. I like you use Ferrari, you not go able to chase me. I don't bust for rap,
rapper born with time. I look like they say I born me time. I'm the hip hop best with different parts, and I can get what you get when I mean no one time. I need my freedom like Sarafina. I'm on to the next one, no get time for una. You can tell that I'm progressing. All I want in my life, I just want me freedom, freedom. For the words I want for you, I just want me freedom.
Right, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Freedom by LAJ, Freedom by LAJ. Of course, LAJ, as we all know, one of the musical artists then from Sierra Leone. Of course, would they see waiting, they talk about freedom, right? All right, and so me fun with them at this point, we get for now go into talking about waiting the independence. You know, then bring you know, with sister channel, when at AYV TV, you know, courtesy of them, there be a whole very important discussion among three important people them inside the country, right? People that were knowledgeable about with independence and how the governance systems they all don't go through now the country from 1961 to 2018, how then governance systems then don't impact with independence or waiting we don't benefit from as far as independence is concerned after we don't gain their Independence Day. So then talk to them. One, then talk to you know, Honorable Alpha Khan of the APC. Of course, you know, say this being Naina be the Minister of Information, a key player in the APC government from Putloko. Then talk to Honorable Bernadette Lahai, when I be the minority leader for the SLPP now the House of Parliament, you know, for 10 years. And of course, then talk to Professor Yoma, when one of the erudite professors in the country about this thing. So we get for see some of the things that we don't talk about and how then talks then they how we're able to analyze them, right? So we'll get for start with the professor, ladies and gentlemen. So stick around with us.
You are watching Sheriff's Broadcast Network.
Of the matter. Prof, let me throw you this teaser. The significant change is that we are now in complete control of our destiny and for the formulation of our external as well as our internal policies. Those were the words of Sir Milton on the 27th of April 1961.
Yes, maybe I need to take the cue from Honorable Lahai. We have achieved sovereignty, all right? We are an independent nation. But for me, these are all nominal terms, right? On paper, right? If you say we have taken our place equal place among the community of nations, what does that mean? What does it mean if at the end of the day you go cap in hand begging for basic necessities of life for your people? Sir Milton said this 57 years ago. 57 years is a long time. We ought to have passed this station. Really sad. If Sir Milton were to wake up today and find out that we cannot pay our salaries without budgetary support from the international community. We cannot provide health care for our people without help from the international community. The same colonial people who drove away. I'm sure he will cry. We are not there yet. We have so much to do. 57 years is long enough for us to still be struggling.
Watching Sheriff's Broadcast Network.
All right, so that's the professor, and of course, waiting a talk about the fact that 57 years, now a very long time for let us get independence, and up to today, we cannot show anything for it. So for let President Madabio take the actions, then we don't begin take. For say number one, we're not celebrate no independence this year. The money will be done, they allocate for the celebration of Sierra Leone's independence. We are not going to allocate that money anymore. We they put on towards other things that we're going to do, they take care of ourselves. we go celebrate with independence at a time where we know say we don't take care of all the basic necessities of life, and then we go begin celebrate with independence now. But for right now, no celebration of our independence. What a leadership decision where the man take. Because this has been the question where plenty of women on the ask. Right? But anyway, let's listen to Honorable Bernadette Lahai on what he think about SLPP fighting for independence, and after we don't get any independence, what SLPP do for consolidator, right? Let's listen to that as well.
You are watching Sherrick's Broadcast Network.
So the SLPP led this country to independence at the Lancaster House. The SLPP led the writing of the very first constitution. So, is it that the SLPP as a party, did not get it right at that initial stage to ensuring that the right foundation is laid for true independence?
I don't want to subscribe to that. First of all, let me make a general statement of fact. You cannot diverse the stage of the development of a country from the context within which that development takes place. It's very important. We always, when we are talking of development, we should always talk of the context in totality. The political, social, cultural, technological, international context. And for Sierra Leone, my friend was saying that 1951 to 1960, Samiti Magai was at the helm of things. But we were under colonial rule. And the pace was, we were not a sovereign nation at that time. So, yes, he was there, but he was not...
Himself was being controlled.
He was being controlled. He did not call the shots. The bulk did not stop at his decks. So, but because also of the goal of colonialization, you know, they came, we had the minerals, we had our cocoa and coffee, and they needed to supply their infant industries in overseas, you know. So there was a little bit of investment in our infrastructure, so that at the time of independence, and even after independence, if we take the first decade after independence, from 1961 to 1970, Sierra Leone was really enjoying the relics of colonization, in the sense that we had good roads, our money pound was linked to the UK pound. We had good educational system, water, light, you know. We are there 24 hours, you know. I can remember very well. I was born and bred in Tongofield, you know. We had light, we had water. Then we had the SLST, the Sierra Leone Selection Trust. You know, that was the diamond mining company, which later on transformed into the National Diamond Mining Company. My father used to work there as a Fordin driver. So if we compare from 1961 to 1967, you know, we had two rules. SLPP ruled up to 1967, and then, you know, APC came up to the time, you know, we had the coup, you know, and we were still under the relics. We were the Athens of West Africa. We were the citadel of training for administrative staff all over Africa, and our health system was very good. Even in a diamond mining company in Tongo, we had very good health system, and people came all over from the Eastern Province and even from outside of the Eastern Province. The two political parties shared part of that decade. But, you know, they were really not responsible for the infrastructure, because it was always also there. But then, let us look at after 1970, you know, when we had ruled ourselves, you know, for almost 10 years, with the relics were there. The question is, did we maintain those things?
So where did
we maintain? We didn't. Because immediately from 1970 to the 80s, you know, we started seeing a deterioration of everything that was left with us to the colonial, by the colonial masters. Our educational system started deteriorating because we had delinked the Leone from the pound, and our policies were not maybe laid on solid foundation. The leadership cannot also be exonerated because we said a leader is as good as the time that it found itself in. So then things started degenerating. Of course, we moved from the multi-party system to the one-party rule, and so that was where we really started. SLPP came in 1996. Let us again look at the context in which during which SLPP ruled. SLPP came at the height of the war. Of course, if we go to the TRC, we have a litany of the factors responsible for our war. And SFP came in at that time, you know, when the country was set ablaze. But the visionary president said, my vision and mission was to finish the war, because that was going to be very important for any development. So he bent backwards. He did things that normally, you know, you will not do in normal times, you know. Sitting on the table with the rebels, you know, giving them positions, forgiving them, even allowing them to form a political party which exists even up to today. REFP. So the war officially came to an end in 2002. Of course, we had a lot of displaced refugees. Most of the infrastructure was damaged. In fact, after the war, there was a post-reconstruction study to look at the damage index. You know, we had damage index as high as 91%. Like if you go to Kono, the damage index was very, very high, you know, compared to other places. That means everything from road, from health, from education, agriculture, the damage index was there. We had lacked security and the rule of law for many years. We had the militia that had guns, you know, children as young as 11. So within that context, there were certain things that a government was not going to pay attention to. When I was in parliament, I would always argue that, no, after the war, people had to go back to a village. They have left their village for 11 years. Some, when they were going back, their villages had grown big trees. They didn't need light at that time. It was not light they wanted. What they wanted was shelter over their head. What they wanted was the rule of law. That means we had to bring back the security forces there to maintain law and order, especially when the rebels, you know, these reintegrated ex-combatants were there and they had not been fully reintegrated. What they needed was schools for their children. They needed at least health centers for the health. And they needed especially agriculture. We are an agricultural country. For 10 years, people have not been farming. They've lost all the agricultural seeds, and we needed to revitalize the agricultural sector. So at that time, what Sierra Leone needed at that time was to everybody to go back to where they were, maintain peace and law and peace and order, and so forth. So that you move now from the emergency. We are emergency. And everybody that came was to do things to ensure that the country is stabilized. Until we lost the election in 2007. In 2007, you know, the foundation had been laid, there was peace, they have put some institutions together, the governance institutions that were very key for providing the foundation, the legal foundation for a takeoff. So in 2007, we always said that the foundation was there and that the APC came and they had to build on those foundations. Now we have moved from emergency to development. Then that means the development context had changed because now there are certain things that you needed. It was now you needed electricity. It was now that you needed very good roads. Then all what you needed was to ensure that people have access to their villages, they go there and so forth, and all those other things. So I always say development is contextual.
So
you cannot
contextualize it.
you cannot discuss development in the absence of the context in which that development takes place, because they impinge on what you do at that time, they impinge on what is your priority at that time and the priority of the people at that time.
Okay.
You are watching Sherrick's Broadcast Network.
Right, that now Dr. Bernadette Lahai, the former minority leader of the SLPP in the Sierra Leonean Parliament. Of course, it articulates to waiting the SLPP as a political party do after independence. It analyzes them thoroughly. But waiting it boils down to is that SLPP, they always solve the problems. Now the country where APC come, they know they build up on the foundation where SLPP they lay. Instead, when they come, then they scatter all things. So meaning that they don't really know how to rule a country. They are ignorant of how to rule a country, right? So that Bernadette Lahai they articulate to. But anyway, let's listen to Alhaji Alpha Khan for answer questions about the allegations for saying that APC na the poor salon, right? Let's listen to him as well. Stick around.
Watching Sherrick's Broadcast Network.
Now, the claim from many Sierra Leoneans is this: Sierra Leone today has been failed as a nation as a result of poor leadership on both ends, the APC and the SLPP. This is why I want to usher you in here, Dr. Kanu. The APC, just after the 1977 election, declared a one-party state. Could that be a testament to the myth that the APC party is responsible for the poor state of governance in Sierra Leone?
Let me just correct the arithmetic. You counted the number of years that the SLPP has ruled since 1961. You know what happened between 1951 and 1961? 1951 to 1961, the chief minister of Sierra Leone was Sir Milton Maga of the SLPP. He was at the head of government then, under the Governor General. So for me, if you want to calculate the arithmetic properly, you have to add another 10 years.
We're talking from the time of independence.
You're talking about the development of Sierra Leone. You cannot wrap that 10 years and throw it under the back.
The argument would be we were not in control, but the governor.
He was chief minister. If you really want to apportion the time period for the development of Sierra Leone, you have to bring that into context. Otherwise, let's just talk generally what happened. We happen to have ruled for 34 years, according to you. 17 years for Shaka Stevens. 7 years for Momo, that's 24, and 10 for Ernest Koroma. Not so?
Yes.
All right. So, but that was due to the fact that the people chose us to rule at that time. And I believe that the development of Sierra Leone during those periods were much greater than the times that the SLPP has been in governance. But then you would say they have a longer time for development. But I didn't come here really today to make comparisons, because we are all responsible for the state of affairs of our country. I think what we have not been able to take into consideration is the fact that this country largely depends on raw materials export as factors of production, i.e. the minerals. And these minerals and the cocoa exports, the coffee, the agricultural exports, are things that are transformed outside of this country into useful products. Those who transform them determine the prices. Those who transform them determine the quantities they want to buy at any time. So at the end of the day, in as much as these goods were produced in our own countries, we don't have control over their exploitation and their conversion into useful things. So I think in that economics, in that economics equation, that factor is very key, because we do not determine the price of our commodities.
Why is that?
And since we don't, because we don't use them. It is the buyer, it's a buyer's world. He determines when he wants to buy and what he wants to buy, how much he wants to buy.
By the end of the day, we're still going for the end product. As a nation.
The end product is a consumer product. That is where we come in, because we need to wear the new clothes that I'm wearing now, like you. We need to ride in a new car. We need to buy zinc for our roofing material and all that. So what we have to do is to start looking at the internal domestication of the transformation of our commodities here in this country.
You know, I know you understand APC man name, right? I know you understand it. I mean, what is this man talking about? Alhaji Alpha Khan, what did they talk about? Now, man, this way we want for talk to bad, you know, really want for interview. Because I don't understand why would they talk about Sierra Leone's development after independence, 1961 to 2018, how the governance systems under the indigenous Sierra Leoneans, where no British not involved. This now we no more salon. We don't go tell the British then say we are now matured enough, we are intelligent enough, we are capable enough to take care of ourselves. So therefore, British people, please give us our government back. And gracefully they have given us our government back. So how on earth Alpha Khan one for let we count from 1951 to 1961, when at 10 years, why you want for let count that one day? I don't understand that. And even if we decide for count from 1951 to 1960, not to Samiti Magai be the head Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone was still under British government. All decisions were made by the British government. So I don't understand why on earth this man want for let we talk about 1951 to 1960. It's all for include that. So you see, we be not tell when I say APC then they like this. Anytime when they do something bad, instead of them own up to it, instead of they accept their mistakes, then they always blame her on the SLPP. This is a classical example of that. The man has demonstrated that he did not have an answer to this very powerful question where this Boboya so don't put to him. So instead, again, for go back to 1950 to 1960. Oh my God, APC there. So you see, APC, somebody writes just now say, SLPP, they walk out of parliament, plenty thing. You see, when you walk out of parliament, it's completely different from when you demonstrate inside parliament, they mass the books, then the documents that they throw away, they destroy government property. That is different. Waiting APC then do at the parliament, they count on to the well of parliament, then they sing unstoppingly, then they mass the documents in the parliament, they make the procedures in parliament impossible. Even when the clerk of the house they tell and say, go back to your seats, they don't go back. I mean, we don't see Malema of South Africa, which in party whether they go to parliament, where they don't want for grief, where they get issues with the procedures. They're not they disrupt parliament, they're not going jump, they stop everything. They will consistently raise up their hands until they make sure say their point is discussed. So even when the clerk of parliament don't ask APC for go sit down, they don't do it. Then they still go and disrupt because they don't be want to let the procedures continue. So therefore, the clerk of the house had to call the police to come get them out. So you see, APC, you see, one thing what they not realize, when God don't come on being una, God don't come on being una. This time is not your time. Don't force it. If Namina una, like how una be do inside 1962, when una lost the 1962 election, you guys went back and became a formidable opposition. It will be good for you guys to go back to that. But if una say una they continue for false things, you are going to end up disenfranchising yourselves. Not supposed to do one. I wouldn't say second for the one. You see? So Alhaji Khan, Alpha Khan, I don't know what to make it talk about 1950 to 19. We are talking about how we under independence, how Salon don't develop. From the time when the British people they give a country back, all get independence, to 2018, how Salon don't develop. Why are you taking us back to 1950? So you see me, family, when I don't see what they talk about, right? But anyway, let's listen one more time to Bernadette Lahai, where he talk about how can a country consolidate the development of a country by setting long-term goals, right? Long-term goals. How can you do that? So let's see that, right? Stick around.
You are watching Sherrick's Broadcast Network.
Wanted to come in was that
yes, I'm coming to you, Sherrick.
You say we cannot compare, but let me tell you also that you know, there are certain things that have set these countries apart. If you take not only Singapore but even Indonesia and those newly industrialized countries, you see, one statement of fact again I need to state here is that development is sacrifice. Sometimes you forgo the things, immediate things now, for you to get value and development in future. What most of these countries did was to have a long-term vision. They took a long-term perspective of the things that will make them develop. By having a national consultation, a national shared value, national discussion and dialogue, and agreeing on where those countries want to go, where they want to be in the next 25 years. Which type of leadership do they want to have to take them to that vision? If you look at these countries, they have a long-term vision that they have consistently implemented. Forgoing the immediate pleasures, preparing their countries that if we are to get better, then there are certain things we have to forgo. And then, you know, even the type of investment that they have, they have. When you look at some of them, you know, they have very, very, very few natural resources. Some have insisted on just tourism. But even in tourism, if you have a long-term perspective on where you want to take tourism go, with the visionary leadership and with also the right attitude and everything. So maybe we also have to look at these countries to compare them. What made them different from us? What made them different from us? We are small, you know, and we are at the same level maybe in 1961, but why have they moved so far?
That is why I want to ask now. What did you do when you were in power as a party, the SLPP, to actually get these visions that you're talking about, getting these policies in place to ensuring that Sierra Leone should have been like those countries?
You are watching Sherrick's Broadcast Network.
Right, of course, Sherrick's Broadcast Network, my family. So these are some of the things that we feel say a country need for do. Just like how, you know, Honorable Bernadette Lahai put them squarely. You know, there has to be an agreement for say you want to move your country forward. You know, just like how Julius Madabio they do right about this time. There has to be that kind of agreement, right? But you know, the thing is, me not go able for just take me mind off waiting, you know, happen at Parliament this past week. You know, that's so we get for can end we broadcast for today. But before we end that broadcast day, we just be one for talk about Parliament. I want for let us see how Malema of South Africa, how you can put your point across by not disrupting parliamentary procedures. Then maybe with parliamentarians they need to learn from that a little bit, because then they mess up big time, right? Okay, hold on, let me bring that to you exclusively.
Honorable Speaker, the recent cabinet
order, Speaker.
Assessed the implementation.
Excuse me, Honorable President, if you may take your seat. Honorable Malema, what is the point of order?
Honorable Speaker, we are committing a serious constitutional blunder by allowing the President to speak in this House. We have since written a letter to you, firstly to ask you to discipline the President. And we did that through the normal channels of this Parliament because we understood that following the Constitutional Court judgment, there must be consequences. It can't be business as usual. You are going on to continue with the President without any consequences, even when the Constitutional Court pronounced clearly that the President violated his oath of office. Now we wrote again to you yesterday, asking you not to allow the President to come to this House. Because when the Constitutional Court found that he did not respect his oath of office, he was honorable no more. And this House only allows honorable people. Zuma. The voters have rejected Zuma. The voters are saying to you, the voters have whispered and said to you, you cannot continue the way you are continuing. Even when the voters have given you a warning, you are still not listening.
You are no longer speaking to a point of order. You are no longer listening.
Even when the voters want you
Honorable
on the 10th of August.
Point of order. Honorable Malema.
We have a motion here.
Honorable Malema.
Honorable
Malema, take your seat.
I'm not going to take my seat. You must tell Zuma to leave. Honorable Malema, to you when you don't tell Zuma
if you want to disrupt the House.
You know, and so Mifamuda, when I see, even though it is a very highly contested conversation where they go on at the South African Parliament, but look how the Parliament is so organized. Nobody know the jump, nobody know the move around. Everything is static. All Monday nights sit on place, and they are still discussing, right? So this is the kind of discussions what they talk about when it comes to, you know, how the procedures, the way people then follow. But anyway, let's see that again once more, right?
You can't come to the House and scream.
Honorable
you said
Speaker.
You wanted to be allowed to express a point of order, and I gave you that opportunity, and you are now abusing the opportunity.
I'm making my last point.
That no, I am not allowing you, Honorable Malema, to continue.
But are you going to allow
You
Zuma?
said
no, I'm not allowed.
Honorable Malema, take your seat.
I'm not allowed.
Honorable
when a
Malema,
man who has been found
take
to
your
have
seat.
broken his oath of office is going to be allowed to speak here.
He will speak.
We are not going to allow that.
He is going to speak.
All right, and so Mifamurem, that is exactly what we have been talking about, and so that is the South African Parliament, and of course that's exactly how you hold contested debates. With the Parliament still very organized, everybody is in their seats, nobody is jumping around, nobody is trying to disrupt the procedures. The procedure continues, but it's heated, right? So now that one day we're not able to do na salon. Instead, Mohamed Bangra, that they come, they say this is a boy business, that they can't jump in the well of Parliament, that they send this wrong signal about us as a people and as a country. And these were the people who were in the reins of governance in our country. And they are refusing to accept the will of the people. For say the Sierra Leonean people, they don't reject them. They don't want you guys, so you get for land for accept this. But for jump na Parliament, then the government want to carry on and get them. All of these things you guys are doing for really justify waiting at the belief way people that be done the whole against una they justify them every day. And so that is the thing that I don't understand that these people continue to do. But anyway, me fam with them. This is Sheriff's Broadcast Network, and of course, we get for open the line a little bit, you know, for people that we want for calling, for men and go call and profile their views on some of the things that we don't talk about today. The numbers are up right now. In case you want for call, you will call that number, and we will get you on, you know, for let we talk. You know, if you get anything where you want for share today, you can do that, right? And so whilst we are doing that, we are going to continue to listen to Super Large. Of course, 9 on demand today. we, Edipan, sing for we. So we are going to continue to listen to him exclusively right here on Sheriff's Broadcast Network. So stick around with us.
I just wanna live my life, oh yeah, I need my freedom, no network, yeah, I just want me freedom for the words you want for do, I just want me freedom for say words you want for say, I just want me freedom, oh I need my space, I just want me freedom, from the one with the heads, I just want me freedom. You gotta beg me the big. I just want me freedom. Freedom. For the words you want for do. I just want me freedom. Freedom. For the words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom. From the one with the head. I just want me freedom. You gotta beg me the big. I just want me freedom. See, I wanna be free from the world. I wanna be free from the hate, the lies, the una all. I don't want to be free from the law. I want to be the best, the highest, and I top on all. Man, they want chase me, but the bitch gone. The one where one hits me, no go live long. Tete, Cat House, RFM, LA. No network for the one, no delay. Say, where the youth money, they send a LA. Where they take net truth, you don't send a LA. Where I change salon music, they not send a LA. Where I make bread sell, they not send a LA. What this world is coming to? What direction we going to? What this world is coming to? At the big goal, I just want me freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom for the words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom. From the one with the hands. I just want me freedom. You gotta beg me the big. I just want me freedom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's not Freedom by LAJ. Of course, we get somebody on the line now. We want to say something. Again, who is calling?
You're talking to Vixen Kane.
Vixen, right. Right.
Yeah.
From you're calling from North Carolina, if I remember.
Yeah, but now no more North Carolina. I did not Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay, go ahead, Vixen.
Yeah. I mean, the follow-up really, which I try for say is, we country in Poil one, definitely let people they not deny APC then contribution towards that country in downfall a very immense. But one thing, the way people then they play politics in that country is like, then they do towards their own benefit or because of certain connections and we then get. And if we say we follow the incident, definitely that country therefore go down the drain. Me, even before the election, one time I began for comment on KK1 in map we began for Tilmap. We are not even Sabiam. But when you look at critically, they say you get some amount of biasness you get in politics. You know, they play a politics where would they expect say if we able to do something where if we able to make the other country go forward. When you look at them critically, you will realize it now a man that way don't come in back. It gets some amount of interest even for the past government when APC. What you make they talk then you know go there as parliamentarian as they talk one of the honorables when all in other parliament to see them kind of thing the way it go on. You get for them kind of statement then. You criticize why police enter. That'll be factual. Waiting at the function of any police in any country. Now for me they enforce law. People then they behave as if not so people then elect them for me them go into parliament for represent the country. No the kind of behavior where they put up. Then you get such intention in the near future for making become president, let me just say. Then and you're not highly educated somebody, you don't work now some organizations that would expect much from you. Then they give such statements. Some of will not go down well with you at all. You know?
Right.
So may they not they play politics wherein it go debar the progress of the country. Now, the don't win. You know, every complete 1-2 months. But such a thing and the way they implement, you see some amount of developmental steps and way they take. When the past government be done the government for 10 years, where they not even do one. Do the amount of money where they don't left na the panda country for pay. Just imagine without picking it there for go. So if you be don't count with the free say with such a level of education we acquire, you they behave in such way, someone will not ever remain for like you. Me for one, as long as I in life, we will ever remain for criticize KKY. Not going to be a leader in another country because he get biasness. He is not honest. And we want somebody where he get that country in the heart. I mean, this are the try for say. That will not take longer time because some people then want to contribute as well. But let people then they play a politics of interest of the country, not in their own interest. Thank you so much.
All right, Vixen, thank you so much for your comments. We really appreciate that. Of course, Zomi family, these are some of the comments we want for make coming in case you want to say something in regards to that. And that will all be the talk, especially with regards to Kande Yumkela. Kande Yumkela come with the message of change. Now, between APC and SLPP, Padaronov, would have been get the message of change? Of course, it was the SLPP. If you say you get for you get for keep silence, or you get for stay on the fence, then it means you get some amount of support for the APC. We get the message of the agenda for continuity. We're not to a change agenda. So by that action and what you do in a parliament, what you talk, all the things they make people that they get very serious doubt over your judgment, over your political intentions, and even for your own future leadership qualities them. Which kind of leadership will you go provide for the country, right? And so my family, that's not been Vixen, and we appreciate him for the call we call in. So let's continue for listening to music as they continue for wait for your call.
I just wanna live my life, oh yeah, nah, 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 nah. I need my freedom. I just wanna live my life, oh yeah, nah, 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 nah. I need my freedom, no network, yeah. I just want me freedom, freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom, freedom for say words you want for say. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom from the one with the heads. I just want me freedom. You gotta beg me the big. I just want me freedom, 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 freedom for the words you want for do. I just want me freedom, freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me free from the one with the head. I just want me free. You gotta make me the big. I just want me free. See, I wanna be free from the world. I wanna be free from the hits, the lies, the una all. I don't want to be free from the law. I want to be the best, the highest, and I top una all. Man, they want chase me, but they beat gone. The one with one hits, we no go live long. Tete, Cat House, RFM, LA. No network for the one, no delay. Say, where the youth money, they send a LA. Where they take net truth, you don't send a LA. Where I change salon music, they not send a LA. Where I make bread sell, they not send a LA. What this world is coming to, what direction we're going to, what this world is coming to. At the big goal, I just want me freedom, freedom for the words I want for you. I just want me freedom, freedom for the words I want for you. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me freedom from the one with the hands. I just want me freedom. You gotta make me the big. I just want me freedom, 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 freedom for the words I want for you. I just want me freedom, freedom, freedom for the words I want for you. I just want me freedom. Oh, I need my space. I just want me free from the one with the hands. I just want me free. You gotta make me the big. I just want me. Yeah, we know today, but we don't know tomorrow.
Left right, talk to you no. The rapper them gone, I make them so. Pure lyrics, then put beside this, so I took over like AFRC. I like you rap tete, not to for me, huh? Man, I need 3D for see me clearly. I like you use the Ferrari, you not go able to chase me. I don't bust before rap, I born with time. I look like they say, I born me time. I'm the hip hop best with different pattern. I can get what you get, one I mean no one time. I need my freedom like Sarafina. I'm on to the next one, no good time for una. You can tell that I'm progressing. All I want in my life,
I just want me freedom, freedom. For just words I want for you. I just want me freedom, freedom. For say words I want for say. I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the heads.
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me freedom, 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 freedom. For the words I want for you. I just want me freedom, freedom. For say words I want for say. I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the heads.
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me
Everything, every general must see a doctor or me. Tete, I give them me injection. Everything I do, they turn back for me. I can't with LA, they set good for me. All I need now, freedom for bring me your kingdom. Pray to me, God, make it shower me with wisdom for make hard beats. Guide me artist, this is no network volume 1. No, this.
Say where the youths man, I they say na LA. Where they take knife shoot, you they say na LA. Where I change salon music, they not say na LA. Where I make red cell, they not say na LA. See like you wonder every day why people like talk. Why not go try for the grow up? You see me every day, why they double up? Why not go do the same left talk? Say why if you see me down, we gonna face me up. And also for the talk for me, things when you not know.
I just want me freedom, freedom. For just words I want for you. I just want me freedom, freedom. For say words I want for say. I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the heads.
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me freedom, 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 freedom. For the words I want for you. I just want me freedom, freedom. For say words I want for say. I just want me freedom.
Oh, I need my space.
I just want me freedom.
From the one with the heads.
I just want me freedom.
You gotta make me the big.
I just want me freedom.
Right. I want me freedom. Of course, that's LJ from Freetown, Sierra Leone. I want me freedom. Of course, LJ all the way from Freetown, Sierra Leone, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, one for say plenty. Thank you to each and every one of you out there for watching everything that we have been doing right here at Sheriff's Broadcast Network. Of course, LJ once more. Of course, one of these, signed there with an old inside that video. They play Sierra Leone music. Of course, everybody like for play Sierra Leone music, but if you not play the music the way people they want, the kind beats the way people they like, the kind message the way they inside the music, Sierra Leoneans will undoubtedly play those songs. Of course, but that now LJ. Of course, this being said, we see pull one other song for where they battle the president, and of course Paupa Salon for Better. We see pull that one. They say now be the main possible people that be the Alexei, now be the mouthpiece of the APC way camper, musical business in Sierra Leone. And of course in Caldinero, they always get clashes in the country. Caldinero in color are green and LJ in red. But this being said, there was an allegation that in the LJ they began for attack now one club in Freetown, and so it became serious stuff. But anyway, don't pull a song now where they battle the president, where they go for the agenda of change. And so this is LJ, one of the musical artists. Of course, he's been living at the US now, but because of some crime business where he involved band that we don't deport, I don't go back salon. It is salon right now. And the other controversial thing where LJ do, now the misconception where it been get about which was that you for use as a hip hop artist. The man within a stadium na Freetown where it cost money cost by song. Mother F, mother this. And these are not words where we Sierra Leone as a country and according to our culture, we not accept them today. when you become a musical artist, you're not a role model for we picking and where they come up. And so if you begin to turn up on stage, you cost mommy, cause you cost them kind cost them day, then of course you are setting a bad example for our children. And so it began to receive a lot of criticisms, even from your own company musical artists and Sierra Leone, somebody like a collabo, when at the current president, you know, a blast from big time. So we hope say LAJ learn from that and able to accept for say in a Fulaman, it come up from a Muslim home. You know, for the cause where it up before, you know, people are like that, you know, for they do that one day. All right, we found them. So ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely Sheriff's Broadcast Network, and that's what we get for end with broadcast for tonight. Once more, we want to say a lot of thanks to you guys out there for everything. We want to say plenty thank you to all for everything. All right, and so before we of course want to say very sorry about the fact that you know the Yeri with voice, but what will they talk? We are talking about LAJ. LAJ, now one of the musical artists in Sierra Leone, and of course you know now the one man this way. It don't produce one album way now. You know, Pau Pass Salon for better, of course, in colonial red. So people that be the say na APC it is support at all times my politics. Then of course in Cow Dinero, when are the other Creole hip hop artists in Sierra Leone, they always be the get clash because Cow Dinero in colonial green, right? And of course this being we see where Cow be get for endorse Marabio. You know, so if not pan competition, everything we don't happen between Cow Dinero and LAJ, Cow Dinero has always stood on top of things. You know, Cow Dinero been in Ayana from here, it build up in career in hip hop artist thing. You know, it go back in Salon, make big names. You know, tour the countries at all time. Don't do it over so many years. And of course, LAJ is kind of America, but we come involved in crime business, so then deport them back to Sierra Leone. So you're not able to survive Panandisef. They camp on politics, APC will be the support, APC people that don't vote them out. Then this being said, they say some confusion happened at one club, now free tour, we didn't get for attack him. And so this being said, he had no choice but to succumb himself to the SLPP by producing this album. But then the other controversial thing where he do was that if they in a studio, if they perform, then if they use Mamikos by performance live on stage, mother F, mother this, you know. If forget the fact, say when you're a musical artist in Sierra Leone, you're not a role model for beginning. And so when you turn up on stage, beginning they watching you, they cause Mamikos, that is not representative of us. You know me say when you can America, plenty of people that don't come to America before you, after you, we're not the guy for adopt a lifestyle, we're not the inside with culture. So when you turn up and stay the cause mommy cause, you're not the inside with culture. In as much as LAJ, you're a very talented brother, but you get some attributes and of your character where you're not the inside Sierra Leone with character at all, you're not the inside with culture. Especially when you're in a Fulaman, Fula people them they come up from very good religious backgrounds. So then see the way they do, it go fine for let you sit down as a brother, you think about it and try for change some of your ways, right? Because you don't company musical artists that begin for even they against you for that kind of thing. So you have to stop it. So my family, this is how we are going to end the broadcast for tonight. And of course, Sheriff's Broadcast Network, we came to you from studio number 8 based in Houston, Texas. And of course, Ibrahim Sheriff is my name and I've been here for you, right? So this is how we're going to end it. I want to say a lot of thanks to you guys.
I need my space. I just want to be free. Fuck them all with a head. I just want to be free. You gotta take me there big. I just want to be free.